our third unit, that is periodic classification. As we know, according to the latest information, some of the topics has been reduced from our syllabus. So the brief history of the elements has been removed. Now we are and the detailed study of the periodic table is also removed from the syllabus. Now we are on the D block and F block elements, and some of the introduction I have given you in the last video also about the D block elements. So the atoms or elements whose last shell, that is D shell, is partially filled or not completely filled, they are called the D block elements. And some of the properties of D block elements are, these are transitional elements, and they are the connecting link between the S and P block elements, and they have n-1 d orbital not completely filled. Now, so D block in D block elements there is n-1 d orbital is not completely filled. What does it mean? We will understand that. For example, it is a configuration called D block element, in which the last shell is not a D shell, because it is in what sequence the shell will come. It will come like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Now the third or third shell will be here, and the fourth shell will be here, right? Now one will be the last shell for this, 4s will be the last shell. So now we just write down the general formula that in which n-1 d orbital not completely filled. What does it mean? Here n is 4, because shell is 4 here, okay, n is equals to 4 here. So 4 minus 1, what will it come? It will come 3d. Okay, so this orbital is not completely filled. So the meaning of this formula is, that is n-1 is this. Okay, so these are called the d orbitals. Now there are some exception here, in which the d shell is completely filled with the 10 electrons, that is scandium, yttrium, lanthanum, zinc, cadmium and mercury. So in these elements, scandium to zinc and these 4s to 3d10, 5s to 4d10. So D shell is completely filled, and what we learned that the elements in which D shell is not completely filled are the D block elements. So these are called the pseudo-transitional elements. Okay, pseudo means false, in which D orbital is completely filled. Okay, so it is about the D. Now D block elements ends on the lanthanum and the actinium series, and just after the lanthanum the series with cesium starts, and just after the actinium the series with thorium starts, and now they ends on yttrium and the krypton. Now this is called the 4f series, and this is called the 5f series, right? So the elements in which f orbital is not completely filled is known as the f orbital. The definition for the d and f orbital is changed in comparison to the s and p orbitals, because in s and p orbital we simply say that the orbital in which last electron is present is referred to the particular orbital. Means if the last electron in p shell or p orbital, it will be p block elements, and in which the last electron will be on s orbital, so they will be the s block element. But the definition changed for the d and f block element. So what the changed definition is, that the elements which have not completely filled d orbitals are called the d block elements, and they do not have the f orbital completely filled are called the f block elements. So some of the properties are here. They found inside the transitional elements, so they are called inert transitional elements. Okay, first the electron will go into the d orbital, then after it will go into the f orbital. Okay, so f orbital will come after 3d orbital. Okay, so these are the inner transitional elements. Now all metals, the elements of F block are all metals, and most of them are radioactive, and the elements after uranium are called the post uranium elements, and they all are radioactive elements. They have their short half life. It means what? Some of them have the life in nanograms. Okay, now they have the incomplete f orbital filled, so they are called the F block element. Now we will go for the nomenclature. Okay. Now we are on the topic that is IUPAC nomenclature system for atomic number greater than 100. So the elements which are having the atomic number more than 100, so how can we name them? So just see that these are the digits, and these are the their symbols which we use for them. So for 0 we will use nil, for 1 un, for 2 we will use bi, 3 tri, 4 quad, if pant, 6 heads, for 7 sect, for 8 oct, and for 9 in. Okay, now we will just take the example to understand it better. We are having an element with atomic number 106. Okay, so at 1 what we will use? We will use un. Okay, and for 0 what we will use? We will use nil. And for 6 what will we use? We will use hex. Okay, so what will be its name? Un, nil, hex. Now what is the suffix we have to use now? Em. So IUM. So anil hexium. Its name will be anil hexium. Or in short, we just take the first letter of this symbol. So from un we will only use U, and for 0 nil we will only take N, and for hex we will only take H. So its name will be represented by like this U and H. Now the next it is 111. So un. Or when we will use the first letter, so it will become U, triple U. Okay, and for 105 and 183 you practice with yourself. Okay, so it is a simple criteria, and use the suffix em also for naming them. Okay, so simple criteria for the naming of the element. They are having atomic number greater than 100. Okay, now we will do the next topic. So after the SP, D and F block element and the IUPAC naming, we are on the study of the periodic table, and the periodic table is divided into 3 categories or 3 kind of elements. These are metals, non-metals, and the metalloids. And in last classes also we have learned about it. So what are metals? Physical property we all know. Suppose you just take an example of a silver, gold or iron, and what are the property you can be defined by watching it. It will be the property, it will be its physical property, like these are lustrous, hard, sonorous, and with high density, malleable, ductile, etc. And opposite property will non-metal have. Now the characteristic property of metal is that they lose electron, and the property of non-metal is they gain electrons. So they just have positive charge on them, and they have negative charge on them, right? Now what are metalloids? Metalloids are the elements in a zigzag line in a periodic table, so which have the property of both metals and non-metals. And I hope that you know the trick of learning the periodic table. So these are the 14, 15 and 16 group, in which these elements are carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and palladium, now nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth and oxygen, sulfur, cesium, tellurium and the polonium. Now in the 14 group, two elements silicon, germanium are the metalloid. In 15 group, arsenic and antimony are metalloid, and in this 16 group, that is tellurium is the metalloid. So these elements are the metalloid in the periodic table, which have the property of both metal and non-metal, right? Now we will go for the trains in periodic table, right?